Hi, this is intuitive counselor Tony LeRoy, and my experience on That's Total Mom Sense was one of really getting to know myself. Her questions really just kind of blew my mind and really took me to a deeper place. I hope you enjoy this episode.
It's that time of year again, where our immunity is really being tested. I have to feel 100% in order to run my weekly podcast, fulfill deliverables for my clients and partners, manage my household, and take care of my family of 5. So believe me, I take my health seriously and take all the measures I can to feel my best. Sambucol was developed by a virologist and is a dietary supplement that provides powerful immune support fueled by nature's superfruit, black elderberry. Black elderberries are a natural source of vitamin A, C, and E, and contain antioxidants that may help fight free radicals. The gummies and syrup have a delicious berry flavor and are easy to incorporate into my daily wellness routine. They're dairy, egg, gluten, nut, soy, and wheat-free, vegan and vegetarian friendly, and they do not have any artificial colors, flavors, or sweeteners. Visit sambucolusa.com, and that's spelled SAMBUCOL and use my code MOMSENSE15 to receive 15% off your order of $9.99 or more. This offer is valid for U.S. customers only. Sometimes parents need a little reminder that our health comes first, and Sambucol can help.
First, learn to listen on many different levels. Kind of like learn to ask questions in a way that doesn't tell them what you think is happening. You know, it's like learn to ask open questions. How was your day? Did something happen today?
Right.
I had a really interesting day. I felt a little worried about you. How are you feeling? That creates a safe space for an even deeper opening, right? It's kind of like, yes, we have these intense senses, but we can react with our own triggers. We can react with our own history. Take a moment, take a beat, take a breath, right? Mm-hmm. And then say, find a different way of experiencing it. You know, I can't imagine what it's like to go to school, you know, during this time where all of us have to wear a mask. How are you doing? Maybe our kid smacked another kid, or maybe our kid did something and we can sense that as well. Why do you think so-and-so was angry at you? It's a difficult conversation, but I think we create more well-rounded kids.
Hi there, it's Kanika. Get ready for another season of That's Total Mom Sense, where I interview global thought leaders on their life stories, the legacy they're passing on to their kids, and of course, their mom sense and dad sense superpower.
It's me, Bobby Brown. Can't wait to share my story.
Hey, I'm Daphne Oz.
Hi, I'm Shawnee Darden.
Hi, this is Christelle Lynn.
Hi, I'm Bhavna Shyamalan.
Hi, this is Tony LeRoy.
Hi, I'm Shannon Lee.
Hi, I'm Farnoosh Tarabi.
Hi, this is Michael Perry, founder of Maple, and you're listening to me on That's Total Mom Sense.
It's our mission to be inclusive, so we're having dads pull up a seat at the table. Tune in to my new monthly segment, What Matters Most with Maple, featuring my co-host, Michael Perry, tech founder and devoted father of 2. Thank you to my brand partners, community, and you, yes, you, for making this podcast possible. Episodes release every Thursday. Join my tribe by logging on to thatstotalmomsense.com and subscribe wherever you listen so you never miss an episode. In the past few years, our world has been turned upside down, and we as human beings have relied on our inner strength, resilience, and faith to face an ongoing global health, economic, political, and social crisis with no end in sight. Sometimes I feel like it's a bad dream. Other times I get into an existentialist mode, questioning what even matters anymore. And yet other times I find a spark to keep going and creating a better life for our future children. I was lucky enough to be connected with my very own friend and soothsayer through dear family members who has helped me tremendously in discovering my true self and calling. His name is Tony LeRoy. Today, we're going to talk about our world, the fate that lies ahead in this new year, and how we can tap into our soul to guide us through life. Tony LeRoy has been giving intuitive psychic counseling sessions for over 17 years. He was drawn at an early age to the life and legacy of Edgar Cayce and first became aware of his own psychic abilities in adolescence. Tony is a psychic whose gifts have found their most resonant expression in what he calls intuitive counseling, meaning he is a healer and a guide, and the miracles he works are all about helping you discover your own power to create your own life. Tony understands there are many answers to the questions we have in life, always seeking new paths. He is a certified life coach who has created the Life Manifestation Sessions. He's also trained in Reiki and hypnotherapy, and most recently, BWRT, Brain Working Recursive Therapy, which was created in 2011 by a therapist and author, Terrence Watts, and it can create permanent change in a very short period of time. Simply put, it helps the client find personal freedom and profound change. Tony tunes into you yesterday, today, and tomorrow. He's the most amusing man you'll ever meet behind a deck of tarot cards. He deals them up with a bit of sass and a dash of tough love. He doesn't give you easy answers. He gives you clarity. You'll have a stronger sense of who you are and where you're going, because the question is not, who is Tony LeRoy? It's, who are you? He continues to add workshops in team building, business, motivational coaching, group circles, monthly groups, meditations, and more. And he's been prominently featured by Marie Claire, Elle Magazine, the New York Times, WABC Radio, The Dr. Oz Show, and many other web and television series. Tony, oh my goodness. Welcome to That's Total Mom Sense.
Wow, thank you so much.
I want to start with a testimonial because that's kind of where it all started. I came to you when I had my own kind of health crisis, and at the time had an eczema flare up out of nowhere that was on my arms and my legs, and it was induced by stress and some allergy. And so we had the session, and after you drew a picture of me and kind of downloaded everything you were feeling in the moment, you started scratching vigorously. And you were like, I feel so itchy right now. And I mean, I was wearing long sleeves. I wasn't doing that. And you just knew. And it was incredible to feel so connected to someone who just empathized and understood what I was going through in that moment. I mean, thank you.
Oh my God, it's so my pleasure. And it is one of the fun things and sometimes scary things about the way I work, because I am very empathic. I feel what goes on with a person or with a client in my own physical body. And so sometimes I'll just be like, wow, I'll start scratching and then I won't even know what it is, or I'll get hot flashes, or I'll get some pain in my body. And then then I recognize, oh, it might not be mine. Hey, do you have something going on with your neck, or what's going on with your thumb, or whatever it is? And then boom. It connects with the client.
Yes. And then you gave me solutions. And I think that's like this, added element is, you had referred me to someone in Ayurveda and said that an Ayurvedic diet could help with the inflammation. And it did. Yeah. And, other kind of insights on being on an e-board of a nonprofit would give me a chance to provide service and give back. And I did that. And it's called Rise 100 by Sundara. You are a North Star. We know what our destiny is, but you're helping point us in that direction.
Well, thank you so much. It's an honor. And I have to say, I was meditating earlier and I recognize how grateful I am to be able to do this. It's like as I work on someone, I'm also working on myself, and as every single person shifts or changes or finds that little tiny bit of enlightenment, the world starts to shift and change and finds its own enlightenment, especially with what's going on right now in the world. It's a time where we can all step up a little bit more and be more present, more whole.
Yes, absolutely. I want to go into another kind of connect that we have, because I have to give her a shout out, Shannon Lee. I mean, angel on earth, honestly. So she has become a friend thanks to you. And I mean, you have a karmic connection with her and her entire family, which is just...
It really is wild.
It's so great. And yeah, when we connected, we just kept saying that, if Tony made this happen, this is very special, what we have.
I remember when I was speaking with you, I'm like, you have to meet Shannon. You have to meet Shannon. There's the mom sense, but then there's just this what you both do in the world is so incredible, and what you both kind of attribute and connect, and how through a very simple voice, you bring this incredible awareness. And so thank you both for doing what you do,
And one thing you shared on her podcast, so if you don't subscribe already, it's called the Bruce Lee podcast. And this interview was really, really compelling. And it's a lot about who you are. You're like water. And she has a book called Be Water, My Friend, which kind of pays homage to her dad, Bruce Lee, more so the metaphoric, almost lyrical and poetic meaning of water. It takes any shape. You put it in a cup, you put it in a bottle, it can crash, it can drizzle, it can be calm. I mean, there's so many different manifestations of water, and yet it always flows and it always adapts to any situation or circumstance. And that's you.
That's all of us, right? It's what we ultimately need to be, is to be present and to be flexible, to bend, to recognize when to be hard, to recognize when to pull back, to crash, and to open up, and to recognize that we really do affect each other in such a profound way. So yes, it is me and it is you. I love it all. With the work that I do is that to really show people that we all have the ability to create change. We all have the ability to move past these very trying times in our lives, to really find a place of joy, a place of ease, a place of happiness, a place of transformation. It's all there.
Yeah. Tell us about your childhood and how you recognized you had this clairvoyance at such a young age.
This year, 2021, has been the year that has really have thrown my childhood back in my face. Because, I could tell this, I tell the story of how my first spiritual experience was seeing my grandmother when I was 3 or 4 years old in my living room, and how I told my mom, and, my grandmother was telling me all these things about my mom. And then I kind of shared it with my mother, and she was, oh yeah, sure, whatever. Right. And learning very early on that, I can't say everything that I feel. It's not safe to speak what I'm feeling with this person, And so I learned very early on to kind of swallow and keep in some of the things that I was seeing. And my brother passed away early this year in January.
So sorry.
Losing a sibling has shown me, like, we weren't like the best of friends. We weren't even really close towards the end of his life. He was my best friend, and like how siblings, it's like, these are your best friends. There's something beyond connection and the grief that I felt. And so I've been really reliving so many interesting experiences. And now also just going through my mom's grief, and my mom's like 86 years old right now. And she's in an independent assisted living place, and I have to now be the caregiver. And it's really wild. It's really wild to see how the roles have shifted, and to recognize how much power this woman has had in my life, and how much she's transformed who I am through very positive things and also some very negative things. It's kind of like I essentially went through this whole psychic experience, intuitive, empathic experience on my own. And I had to learn by myself what to do with it. And so I love that I can speak to you and speak to other moms right now, where it's like, listen to your kids and trust their feelings and give permission for them to have their imagination. And for when we're really stressed out, take a moment, no matter how fanciful what your kid is saying, and really listen to what they're saying.
Well, tell us, what does the world need now? Because our health crisis, social, political, like there's something that's so unresolved or that's getting stirred up again. What do we do with this? And especially in this new year in 2022.
I have this deep and profound trust in the universe. I have this deep and profound trust in process. Everything that's happening, I believe, actually needs to happen. When it came to really looking at what's been happening with people of color and women and people of different sexualities and genders and gender identities, and all of these things are happening. It's really saying, like, recognize that we're all one people, we're all one.
Yeah.
And it's so fragmented and it's so broken at this time, and it's always been broken and it's always been fragmented, but now it's so in our face. And it took a pandemic and it took certain political situations to really throw that in our face. I find that when I speak to people, and I speak to everybody, I speak to left, right, up and down, I always choose to see the God within each person. And in doing so, there is transformation. And if we could really take a moment to see that there is no separation between you and me. Yes, we may have different hair. We might have different skin tones. We might have different ways of being. We may have different economic structures, but we're still one. We're still connected. And if I can have compassion for who you are, and if you can have compassion for who I am, the world becomes a better place. And I really feel that what's happening right now is forcing us to look at the world in a holistic way, to look at health in a holistic way, to look at finances in a holistic way. And so I that's what I feel is that's happening. It's like, this is evolution. Sometimes you have to crack some eggs to make an omelet. Regardless on which side you're on, there's fear. And the fear is filtering how we hear each other. The fear is filtering how we communicate. The fear is filtering how we even see each other, right? And so I use this analogy of kind of like, it gets, this is not my pure analogy, but I used to use the analogy of like, it gets darkest before the dawn. And we are in the dark period, right?
Yes.
Another analogy that I used as a kid was like, back when I had like my first car, I would wax my car, and you put all this like deep, thick coat on it, and at some point it was just impossible to take this wax off of it, right? And so you had to like buff it. And I wish I had a machine to clear it off. But once you finally did it, the car was like shiny and new again.
Yes.
We are in that period where it just seems all covered with this very dank, dirty experience, and with some work. And it is going to take work. It is going to take resilience. It is going to take communication. It is going to take love. It is going to take compassion to create a shift. And we can. It's very easy to get mired in the details. And it's breaking past those patterns. It's really recognizing. And again, it takes a lot of love. It takes a lot of patience. It takes a lot of being able to be present with each other in order to create that shift. So,
do you have any crystal ball or something that's telling you that there's something even more magnificent that's to come?
When it comes to world events, I have to be honest, I have been terrible.
Okay.
I really have. I mean, it's like, it's, and I realize it might be that I'm just selfish, because last February, I was in a spin class. As I'm in this class, I get this very strong knowing, give up my office. Traveling a lot. I don't need to spend this much money on the particular office I have, which was a beautiful office. And I'm like, I can't really afford it. I'm going to let it go. I can use this other space, And I left the spin class, called a bunch of friends and called my assistant. I'm like, I'm giving up my office. Called the landlord. I'm giving up my office. They're like, you still owe us X amount of money. I'm like, okay, I'll pay it. And then within 2 weeks, we were in lockdown.
Oh my gosh.
I just feel like everything happens for a reason. So when I feel into, and I am praying, when I feel into 2022, I am cautiously optimistic. When I meditate on next year, it feels like the word that comes up is union. It's going to be a union of opposites. It's going to be a union of people. It's like this fragmented experience that we have going on is going to shift into unity. I hope it creates some ease, because girl, we need some.
I know. Give us a break, universe.
We have to get past the anger, and people aren't being heard.
No, yeah, I know. And I think I want to bring it down to the micro now, because at an individual level, you got to do the work.
Yes.
It's so, so important. My husband and I, we are going through our own counseling sessions because we don't want to have very asinine arguments anymore. And it just, we're doing the work, and it's great. Yeah. And it's great. In my own health thing, I just started whole health plan that helps me get into ketosis. Because I'm ready to just shed the weight that I put on after the 2 pregnancies and 3 kids. And it's like, that's just my own thing. But everyone should kind of evaluate, and you help with this because you are like the mirror for us. And you're like, where do you notice that there are gaps, and do the work to fix it. Right.
But just to kind of give you an example of kind of like when I feel like every conversation is a conversation for all of us, right? So everybody who's listening may be struggling with weight, may be struggling with being present. It's like, what happens if we get a little bit more present and ignite that inner fire with the breath?
Yes.
Right? Do the ketosis, go do the diet, and breathe. What happens when we breathe? It's like, oh, we get more present. What happens when we get more present? Oh, I get to make better food choices. What happens when we make better food choices? Maybe we lose some weight.
How do you recommend we do a breathing or meditation practice so that we're plugged in to our spirit regularly?
With any practice, give yourself space to feel what's coming up, right? Because when we meditate, when we think about the idea of that ideal meditation of being that Buddha that is totally at peace, right? That's bullshit. It's like the thing
unattainable.
The very first thing that comes up is, oh my God, I didn't pay the bills, or I have to mail this thing. And I could hear the kids in the background. What's with the sirens? Da, 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 right? And we have to allow that noise to come through, breathe past that noise. Then we get into the deeper levels of ease and peace and balance and connection and oneness. But at the very beginning, it's discomfort, because that's what our brain is geared to do. It's like, oh, you're quiet. Let me show you what's going on.
Yeah.
This is what you didn't do yesterday. This is what you need to do tomorrow. This is what's going on. Da, 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 da. So for any practice, whether it be yoga, whether it be going to the gym, whether it be taking a walk, meditation, a breath practice, give yourself time to get through that incredible, dense, thick noise. For some people, when they're very experienced, yes, they can drop into oneness. But for others, it gets noisy, and let that be okay. And then breathe through it, move through it, allow it to pass.
As you speak to people all around the world, and they come with their baggage, does that weigh down on you?
No. It used to when I first started, because I took responsibility for every single session. I really believe that each person comes to me, whether it's challenging for me or not. We're meant to have this little dance for an hour. I get to see and know the filters that a person needs to clear. Now, sometimes a person doesn't like it, right? So I'll say something to a client and they're like, I'll never come back to this guy, right? And then 10 years later, they're like, I found this cassette tape, or I found this recording and I re-listened to it and I really hated you at the time, but boy, were you right. So it may take 10 years for a person to hear the message,
Wow.
I have learned, and it's practice, right? It's taken practice to really just surrender, be in the moment, and whatever comes through, comes through. I have to take ownership when I'm not feeling okay to either cancel my clients or, refund money or what have you. If it's like, oh, you know what, I'm not having the best day. This is on me.
I feel like so many of us are into different things, whether it's astrology or, having your birth chart read, numerology, tarot, human design. There's so much out there.
Mm-hmm.
Do you apply like a combination of all of it? Like what is your process?
My process is first, I invoke your guides, right? Your teachers, your ancestors, right? I also have a talent to access the Akashic records, and Akash in Sanskrit means sky, right? And
Yes.
so we all have ability to connect with what has been, what could be, what might happen. You brought up Edgar Cayce. He was a person that was able to access the Akashic records. And so he was able to know everything about everyone in some way, which was amazing.
Wow.
I heavily rely on the empathy ability, the empathic ability, where I feel things physically, because I can feel a pain and the quality of the pain. If it's a sharp punching pain or a sharp prickly pain, that means something versus a dull ache. And so over the years, I've learned to recognize what each type of sensation means. And so then I can kind of like go into the belly of it. And sometimes I could even recognize the time of it. I was working with a friend who had a stroke the other day. And I was like, when you were 5, there was like a major head blow. And he was like, yeah, I was like, horsing around with my uncle and I cracked my head open. And I was like, it's insane. But, your stroke still has some remnants to what happened then when you were 5. Yeah. Crazy, right? I said the same thing.
My
I was like, whoa.
Yeah. And you felt it. Yeah.
Yeah. And he was so tapped in. He was like, yes. And so then we worked on his 5-year-old and really helped to heal the 5-year-old. I rely on numerology. I love numerology. I use one aspect of numerology when it comes to kind of like finding what's your, I use your birth date to find your kind of like life path number, because I am terrible with timing, because I could see something really clearly, but it might happen tomorrow or it may happen 5 years from now. So the numbers actually help me to find a way of kind of like fine tuning the timing a little bit, because that's the hardest thing for me to predict is time.
Yes. Yes. But one thing unique that you do is you draw.
I do this drawing, which helps me to see what's going on around a person mentally, physically, spiritually, and emotionally, right? Because I'm so empathic, right? I have, and as a kid, oh my God, especially as a teenager, what I would do is I would absorb all this stuff and not know how to release it. And so over time, I've developed this drawing. It looks like this funny stick figure, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's like I feel this stuff and then I just dump it on the paper. I dump it on the drawing so that I could just take it off of me. And it's very revealing. It really shows me kind of like past scars and illness and energy blocks and, what's going on physically with someone. It's pretty amazing. So, yes.
How do you advise parents to tap into our own intuitive capabilities? And we're more attuned to our kids somehow as parents. So like, how do we really tap into that?
First, learn to listen on many different levels. Kind of like learn to ask questions in a way that doesn't tell them what you think is happening. It's like learn to ask open questions. How was your day? Did something happen today?
Right.
I had a really interesting day. I felt a little worried about you. How are you feeling? That creates a safe space for an even deeper opening, right? It's kind of like, yes, we have these intense senses, but we can react with our own triggers. We can react with our own history. Take a moment, take a beat, take a breath, right? Mm-hmm. And then say, find a different way of experiencing it. I can't imagine what it's like to go to school, during this time where all of us have to wear a mask. How are you doing? Maybe our kid smacked another kid, or maybe our kid did something and we can sense that as well. Why do you think so-and-so was angry at you? It's a difficult conversation, but I think we create more well-rounded kids.
Let's not forget our quote of the day.
So is there a quote that you live by?
Is Nat King Cole, the greatest gift you'll ever learn is to love someone and be loved in return. That song just does it. And it's just that part of that song, right? And that's it sums up a lot of what we've been speaking about today, right? It's just like, if we were to actually love each other and allow ourselves to be loved back, that's transformative.
It's now time for Mom Haul, when we share products we love.
Mom Haul or Dad Haul, it's a product that you are loving right now that you want the audience to know about.
I mean, come on. I mean, I have to pimp, Shannon Lee's book.
Yes. Yes.
Like,
here it is right here. I keep it on my desk, even though I've read it already.
Yeah.
Because I just need the reminder.
I haven't seen that one with the black cover.
Oh, nice, right?
That's
oh my
nice.
Goodness. It's so pretty.
Mine has a white cover.
Yeah. Maybe it's
beautiful. Maybe this is the second
the
printing.
one from
So
this year.
Be Water, my friend.
Be Water, my friend. And where can my listeners find you, especially those who are interested in doing a session with you, attending your meditation workshops, all of it?
Well, my website is one of the fastest ways of booking sessions. It's TonyLeRoy.com, TonyLeroy.com. My Instagram is @IntuitiveTony. My Facebook page is Intuitive Tony LeRoy, I believe.
Yeah, I can't highly recommend it enough. If you feel lost, if you feel confused and fearful, Tony will help you through it. And he will give you that clarity and that light and that sense of contentment that you're yearning for. Because I felt that after the first time. And I mean, it's like 10x, 100x that comes back after meeting with you. Absolutely. And thank you for helping us through this interview rediscover two words that really stuck out to me: union and love.
Amen.
I hope you enjoyed today's very special episode with Tony. Do you feel enlightened? Do you feel intuitive? Do you feel heard? It's amazing how he has this magic and capability to really find those deep connections within us. Tony just has that effect on people. If you are interested in a one-on-one session or couple session with Tony, you can sign up via his website, TonyLeRoy.com, and mention that Kanika sent you. Thank you for subscribing, rating, and reviewing That's Total Mom Sense wherever you listen. It helps get up the ranks, and I appreciate the feedback. I want to keep giving you content that lands and resonates, and I am so humbled to spend time with you each and every week. Write to me at that'stotalmomsense@gmail.com. I love reading and writing back to your messages. And remember, always trust your mom sense and your dad sense. Stay strong, super parents. See you next time.
That's Total Mom Sense.